What's up, YouTube? It is Jeff Tuffner here on the Glorious Podcast, episode 32, coming to you with my Smackdown Live review for the September 12th, 2017 edition. A little bit later tonight, we had the Mae Young Classic after Smackdown. That went about a half an hour, about up until 10:30, so that's why I'm a little late here today. But nonetheless, we're here now, so let's get into Smackdown tonight. The big hyped-up episode of Smackdown. We had three title matches, the women's title, tag titles, and the U.S. title on the line. And we had the return of Vince McMahon to SmackDown for the first time in ages. I don't think Vince has been on SmackDown since 2009 until tonight. We have that to talk about. I'm just gonna get talking to that. I'm gonna get right into that. I'm gonna get right into the Vince stuff because that's what I like most about the night. I don't know, there's been good builds for matches in the past, but I don't know about you. I love the build they're doing for this Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens match at Hell in a Cell. I love the build. I just think it's such good build. I don't know why, but it is some of the best build, in my opinion, that I have seen in a long time in WWE. I've been watching for, 7 years now. I mean, this is like I'm not even kidding. This might be like the best build. It's up there. It's up there with, WrestleMania caliber build here for this match. I just love what they're doing. I love how they're bringing the entire family in. All the McMahons and everything. I just love it. And then the match itself, Shane McMahon, Kevin Owens inside of Hell in a Cell is going to be an amazing match. That match has to go on last. I mean, everybody would think the WWE title match would go on last, but I really think there's no way. They got to put on Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon in the Hell in a Cell. That has to be the main event of the pay-per-view on October 8th. I'd be very pissed if it is not. So they better put that on last, because that seems like the match they're hyping up. They're hyping, clearly more people are going to want to see Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon inside Hell in a Cell than Shinsuke Nakamura and Jinder Mahal, because to be honest, I'm not really invested in another Shinsuke Nakamura Jinder Mahal match. I don't think Shinsuke is going to win. It is expected they're going to keep the title on him. They just announced they're going to do a couple shows over, live event shows over in India in December or something. So that makes you think, they're going to keep the title on Jinder and probably until December at least. Which I don't think is a bad idea. It's weird, but I want them to keep the title in Jinder for a while. I don't know why. I honestly would not have a problem if they kept that title in Jinder for the rest of 2017, maybe even up until WrestleMania, because we don't see many lengthy title runs these days. It's not like back then when guys had title runs and, they'd go over, entire years. You know what I mean? CM Punk had that run where he was champion for over a year. You know what I mean? You don't see that anymore. Titles are switching hands, and we saw it again tonight with the tag titles. Titles are switching hands just about every other week on both shows now, and apparently WWE is doing this on purpose. Apparently, they think, more title changes are going to draw more viewers. Just another one of WWE's stupid theories that is clearly just complete bullshit. I don't know why they would think that, but, then again, they are WWE, and they've said a lot of stupid shit in the past, well, at least the past year or whatever, that's just why would they think that? But that just makes no sense if that's the case. But I don't know. So I don't know why. I awkwardly. I'm not I enjoy Jinder Mahal's title, and I think just keeping the title. I just feel like they need to elevate him a little more. I feel like as of late they haven't made him as much as important. They feel like the title's been devalued as a whole, not because of Jinder Mahal. I felt like it was actually kind of important when he was feuding with Randy Orton. They made it seem somewhat important, especially around Battleground and all then, when they had the Punjabi prison match. But I feel like when the Shinsuke Nakamura feud with Jinder, it just feels like more of a mid-card feud that nobody really cares about. I don't know. I don't care for the, Nakamura and Mahal matches. I think they could both do good, especially Nakamura. I'm a big Nakamura fan. I just don't think they mix well together. So I don't know. I just don't care to see another match. I expect Jinder to win, and hopefully they give Jinder a feud where it's more of a better mix of styles. I feel like just the styles of Nakamura and Mahal do not go well together, and it just clearly showed at SummerSlam. And I don't know. And then the builds. It's not like the build's good. What the hell were they doing? What was that whole promo that Jinder was doing tonight? I was just completely lost during that promo tonight on SmackDown. What else happened on SmackDown? Let's talk about the three title matches. The three title matches, AJ Styles versus Ty Dillinger was the first one. I was excited for this match. I was hoping for about a 15, maybe, they're probably going to go 20. So I was thinking about a 15-minute match, good match. I was expecting Styles to retain. I didn't think they would put the title on Ty Dillinger yet, but I was expecting a really good match because the match they had, 2 weeks ago or last week was only like, not even a minute long. And the match was okay, but it was quick again. Like, why? It was like not even 5 minutes. They, had the entrances. They started the match, went right to commercial, came back, and then they ended it quick. And Corbin came out, and we're gonna get Corbin versus Styles next week. And Corbin versus Styles is probably gonna end up leading to a match at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Which, to be honest with you, I don't give a shit about Baron Corbin. Good job, WWE. You've successfully ruined Baron Corbin, taking the briefcase off him, just ruining everything. You know what I mean? Like, go back 2 months, and I was, somewhat of a Baron Corbin fan. Now I could care less. I don't care to see Baron Corbin at all, honestly. I'm getting to the point where I just don't even want to see him on my TV anymore, on Smackdown or whatever. Like, I just don't care. I'd much rather see Ty Dillinger versus AJ Styles in a 15-minute match at a pay-per-view than Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles at a pay-per-view in about a 15, 20-minute match. That's just my opinion, and I'm guessing a lot of other people probably have the same opinion in regards to that. So that match, it was an okay match, like I said, but I felt like it was a letdown in the way that it was just another short match, and then they've announced Corbin versus Styles next week for the title in the Open Challenge. So much for like keeping a secret to the Open Challenge. I mean, we're finding out like the week prior to the show, we know now who's facing, Styles in the Open Challenge. It's not much of a surprise anymore. Like, the old version, how it's supposed to be, if you think about it. So that kind of takes away from that. That sucks. But as for the match tonight, like I said, quick, good match, but way too quick. Shouldn't have been that quick. And what the hell? I was creeped out by that. I forget her name. The interview with Rusev backstage. The way that interview opened was weird. I don't know who that girl was or whatever, but she sounded like a robot. That was just really weird. I had to go back and watch it like a few times. I was like just mind blown. Like, it legit she legit sounded like a robot. It was just crazy. I don't know what the hell was going on. I don't even know who she is. She must be someone new or whatever. Someone from NXT or whatever, because they're changing interview people every weekend at this point. But that was weird. The New Day and the Usos. That match was good. All right, that was the one title match that actually succeeded my expectations for it. But the winner of the match, why'd they put the titles back on the New Day again? The hot potato with the now Smackdown Tag Team Championships, I've just went off in the beginning of this thing complaining about how I don't like them, hot potatoing with the titles and everything, switching them every month. Let's get some lengthy title reigns. We just saw, what was it, the New Day? I forget at this point because we're seeing the title change hands every week. They're like, change hands at a pay-per-view, and then a couple weeks later on SmackDown it changes hands, and then the next week, back on the pay-per-view again, it changes hands again. I don't understand why they're doing this. So, I really enjoyed the match. It was a hardcore match. They were destroying themselves. Guys were going through tables, flipping all over the place in the ring. Great match. I enjoyed that match. That was the best of the 3 title matches they had. Best match of the night as on the entire show. But why'd they change the title again? Like, we're gonna get a new feud now, or are we getting another New Day Usos match? I'm kind of getting tired of New Day Usos. Their matches are good, but the feud's kind of getting stale at this point. It's like, all right, let's move on to something else. Maybe get Breeze Dango in the mix or something, or Shelton Benjamin, Chad Gable. We saw them in action later in the night against the Hype Bros. And once again, are the Hype Bros splitting up again? Zack Ryder walks out after the match, and it's funny because I just happened to be thinking during the match. I was just thinking about when they were like teasing them to turn on each other right when Zack Ryder returned a few months back in like June or whatever. I was just thinking that during the match, and then they have it after the match where Zack walks out. I found that funny. So I don't know if they're gonna break them up or whatever. To be honest, do you really think either of them are gonna go anywhere? Zack Ryder's really had his time in the spotlight, 2011 or whatever when he won the U.S. title. So I don't know what they're going to do with SmackDown tag teams or whatever. I think they need to do something else, get a new team in the picture is what I'm basically trying to say here. The New Day, the Usos, things kind of going stale at this point. They've been running that for way too long, I think. That's a problem with tag teams. You see it on Raw, too. It's just not, the tag team divisions just aren't deep anymore. There's not many people. You got about 4 teams on Raw, legit. The Hardy Boys, who've been, like, teasing like a breakup, not like breaking up, turning on each other, but just kind of going their separate ways. WWE's been teasing that in the past weeks. We saw Jeff have the Intercontinental title match with The Miz, so they've been kind of doing that. But then you have Gallows and Anderson, who've just been a mess ever since they've came to WWE, which is a shame because they were great in New Japan. So I still can't believe how bad WWE just books them. You have Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Now I like the idea of getting them as a tag team because they were both kind of lost in the shuffle in Raw. put them together, give the titles to them. No problem with that. And then you have Sheamus and Cesaro, another team. You go back to last year, they were feuding. Remember that? This time last year, the Best of 7 series. I give praise to that because that was actually a really good thing, that Best of 7 series. I didn't care for it at first, but all the matches were actually pretty good. And then they ended up becoming a team winning the titles. So, that worked out pretty good. But other than that, they have nobody on Raw. And then, like I said, SmackDown, you got the Usos, the New Day. You got Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. They're still kind of, getting them together. We really don't know what we're going to get out of them. And we know they can wrestle. They need some kind of gimmick or whatever. They're just, just seems like two guys teaming up. Doesn't seem like they're really a team, yet or whatever. And then you got Breeze Dango, who really hasn't wrestled in a while, but, fashion files every week. They're entertaining as hell backstage and everything with that. So it'd be nice to see them get in the ring. But they've been teasing like the Authors of Pain maybe coming up from NXT as the attackers of who trashed Breeze Dango's office and all that stuff. So they've been teasing that for weeks now. Going back to, when I say weeks, I mean months rather. Going back to like Money in the Bank in June. So it'll be interesting to see if we see them on SmackDown. SmackDown could use them. What else happened on SmackDown? We had the women's title match. I felt like that was a disappointment in a way. I didn't care for that. Out of the 3 matches, I was like least excited to watch that match because, I just felt like I wasn't expecting anything. In the back of my mind, I was like, maybe Carmella will cash in if the show's crazy good or whatever at this point. You know what I mean? If it's like a crazy night, but nah, not the case. Natalya retains. They didn't even get entrances. They came back and they were like already in the ring or whatever. So I didn't care for that match, to be honest. Like I said, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable defeat the Hype Bros. And what else happened? I really don't know what else happened. The show opened with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, I gotta praise Kevin Owens. He's great on the mic. He's one of the best. He's one of my favorites right now in the WWE, just in general. His mic skills are just great. Some of the best in WWE right now. You know what I mean? Like, you see guys like Roman Reigns who can't, talk on the mic to save their life. So, but then you got guys like Kevin Owens who can, they can get in the ring and wrestle and then can talk on the mic. So that's, he's the complete package basically. And then Dolph Ziggler. Let's talk about Dolph Ziggler for a second. That's the one thing I was forgetting. Dolph Ziggler. He comes out dressed as Shane McMahon, continuing to mock people. And then later in the night, he dresses up as Bayley and then the Ultimate Warrior. So I don't know how much longer they're going to run this thing out with Dolph Ziggler, but oh my. They have nothing for him. They're basically playing the whole idea of he doesn't need a gimmick. He can back it up in the ring. Which, if you think about it, it's been kind of his thing forever. That's been his line. That's been his line, I think. He backs up in the ring or whatever, something like that. I don't know. I forget. But I don't know what the hell they're doing with Dolph Ziggler, to be honest. People are saying it's going to lead to a feud with Bobby Roode down the road or sometime in the next few weeks or whatever. And then they'll just use Ziggler to put Roode over on the main roster, just like they did with Shinsuke Nakamura. I guess that's what Ziggler's role is at this point in WWE. I don't know. But let's talk about the final part of the show. Kevin Owens, Vince McMahon. So KO calls out Vince. Vince announces that we are getting the match at Hell in the Cell. We expected it to happen, but it is now confirmed. Hell in the Cell, October 8th. Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens. I am looking forward to this match, like I've said before in the beginning of this show. I really want to watch this match. Shane McMahon in Hell in the Cell is easy money right there. And you throw Kevin Owens in there. I know, and the build for the feud has just been amazing so far, and it's only going to get better. Like, this has to be the main event of the pay-per-view, guys. This just has to be the main event. I will be pissed if they do not put this match on last. But as for tonight, we saw KO once again. He takes out Vince. Headbutts Vince, and then Vince gets busted open. I don't think that was from the headbutt. I think Vince might have, did something. There wasn't, a little blood pack or whatever. I don't know how they did it or whatever. Maybe Vince, cut himself or whatever. But I don't, he was bleeding pretty bad there, after, not immediately, but as, time went by. KO hits him with a frog splash from the top. And then we see Stephanie McMahon make her on-TV return for the first time since, WrestleMania. So now they've brought her into this. Who's next? Triple H? Are we going to see Triple H get into this sometime soon? Like I've said before, I love the idea of bringing the entire McMahon family into it. It makes it seem large legit. And this is going to help. This feud will help Kevin Owens in the long run. Not that Kevin Owens needed any help. He was kind of fine where he was. But this feud, once this is all said and done with, I really feel like this could be like one of the feuds of the year. When we're sitting here at the end of 2017 talking about what were the best feuds in 2017 in WWE, I feel like we could be looking back and saying Shane McMahon, Kevin Owens was one of the best of the year. I feel like Hell in a Cell is only the beginning of their feud. I feel like we're going to see a Survivor Series traditional tag team elimination match, Team Kevin Owens, Team Shane McMahon. I really feel like we're going to end up seeing that, which will follow the Hell in a Cell match, and then maybe even another match at another pay-per-view at the end of the year to end it all out. I just feel like this is good, and it will help KO. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like at the end of the day, KO will be the one that goes over in the whole feud. I don't, there would be no sense if they're putting Shane over at this point. I mean, that would be very out of the ordinary, but you never know with WWE. But I just love this feud. I love everything about it. I think it's like the best thing going in WWE, Raw, SmackDown, wherever right now. The build's been amazing. I don't know. Maybe I'm enjoying it more than others. Maybe other people are like, yeah, it's been okay or whatever. But I don't know. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. I'm just looking forward to it every week. As for SmackDown as a whole tonight, it didn't really go crazy, good like I expected. And this has been the case at SmackDown. I mean, I feel like you guys have heard me say 1,000 times now on my reviews. The week before, I'll be like, SmackDown's really stacked next week rather. It's going to be a great show, expecting something a lot. And then you look at the card and what they've announced, and it just looks like a stacked show. And the show kind of doesn't end up being what you expect. And it was that case again tonight, where it was just a solid show. It wasn't off the charts good or whatever. I thought it had, once again, it was put together like it was going to be some kind of crazy, unforgettable SmackDown. But it was kind of just nothing really crazy happened. It felt long, too. I don't know why. It just felt long for a 2-hour show. Usually it flies by. It felt long tonight. I didn't hate it, but it felt kind of long. I don't know. I thought it was okay. Let me see. Rating out of 10. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. I mean, the New Day versus Usos match, I really enjoyed that. Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon, that whole thing, great. Really, other than that, though, Ty Dillinger versus AJ Styles was a good match. If it were a little bit longer, I would have preferred that. But other than that, there's nothing really anything that I've really other enjoyed on the show tonight. So I don't know. That's basically it, though, for my SmackDown review, guys. SmackDown was definitely better than Raw again this week. Like I said, SmackDown doesn't even have to be amazing to be better than Raw the majority of the time. Raw just sucks, plain and simple. But let me know what you guys thought of SmackDown tonight in the comments section below. Go follow me all over social media. The links will all be listed in the description below. As always, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow with some more news videos right here on the Glorious Podcast.